This podcast is supported by the University of Southampton in the UK. It's a world-leading research-intensive university with a global network of international students and campuses in Malaysia and Delhi.
We were driving back from some place called Ulladulla and we were looking for whales.
Guy is on a trip with his family in Australia. Does he sound familiar? If so, thank you, Curious Kids, for listening to Series 1, because that's exactly where we first heard from Guy. And now he's back.
And what was it like to see them?
They were big.
Because while he was watching these whales, not one, but two enormous questions popped into his head.
They looked like water coming out of a fountain. And then my brother farted. And then I wondered if whales fart or sneeze.
Hello and welcome to The Conversations, Curious Kids, the podcast where a kid asks a great question and we find a very clever expert to answer it. I'm Eloise. For the first episode of our whale extravaganza, we started at the top end of the whale, and a brilliant academic from Macquarie University in Australia told us all about her research on whale snot.
Hello, my name is Dr. Vanessa Perotta and I am a wildlife scientist.
And for this second episode, we're headed to the bottom end of the whale to find out...
Do whales fart and why?
Do whales fart and why? Now, I love this question. In short, yes, whales do fart, and they probably fart for a number of reasons. Whales are mammals like us, which means they have digestive processes, and as a result of their digestive processes, which are slightly different to ours, they are likely to have some sort of juicy build-up in the gastrointestinal system that would likely give them the opportunity to fart.
Juicy build-up in the what?
Gastrointestinal system.
So what exactly is the gastrointestinal system? Well, it's a series of organs starting at our mouths and ending at our bottoms that digests our food. So let's start at the beginning of it, shall we? Got your goggles on? Let's go! Look around. In our very lucky corner of the ocean, we've got sperm whales, we've got humpback whales, blue whales, all out looking for food. But they don't all eat in the same way. It all depends on what they have in their gigantic mouths.
Do whales have teeth?
Well, some whales have teeth and some whales don't. So you have toothed whales and you have toothless whales. So the toothed whales are those like the sperm whales. They're the biggest of them all. They have teeth and they've only got a lower bottom jaw of teeth. Each of their teeth is the size of an adult's hand if they were pointing them up. They're big and they use these teeth to grab onto giant squid. And then the toothless whales are the baleen whales that have those baleen plates or hair-like structures coming from the roof of their mouth.
Think of a row of bristles coming out of their gums.
And these whales do not have any teeth at all because their diet is different.
Oh, big fella. Whale. Okay. Maybe he only speaks whale.
So if you've ever seen Finding Nemo, you would have seen Dory and Marlin, Nemo's dad, swallowed by a whale.
Dory is trying to attract the whale's attention when they realise it's right behind them. The whale takes a big mouthful of water.
They swim away!
But suddenly,
they're in the mouth of the whale
and all around them,
there's these hair-like structures called baleen plates, and these trap the food, and then the water of the sea comes out of the side of the mouth.
as the whale presses its tongue up against the roof of its mouth, it pushes the water it has swallowed back through the baleen plates and into the ocean. But all the delicious fish and shrimp stay inside its mouth. This is known as filter feeding.
Now, in Finding Nemo, unfortunately, Marlin and Dory get out through the nostrils. That's anatomically incorrect. There's only one way out, going through the stomach and the digestive system and out the other end. And it's not very pretty.
We'll get to that end of the whale's anatomy in a little bit, but if you were a whale, which would you prefer to have? Baleen plates or teeth? Your decision would really influence what you could eat.
So if you've got teeth, your diet requires you to catch things
like big fish or squid or even seals.
And if you don't have teeth, your diet generally allows you to be a massive scooper feeder where you scoop up things.
Like poor Nemo. But not all baleen whales are swimming around the ocean with their mouths open, hoping to chance on a fish buffet. One whale in particular has a very nifty trick up its sleeve.
I've heard humpback whales do a really cool thing called bubble feeding. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, so bubble feeding is a really cool behaviour where some humpback whales are able to blow bubbles deliberately from their nostril around their food. Now what they'll do is if they see fish or krill and they're working together with a friend, or they might do this by themselves, they'll take a breath and then they'll dive down and they'll deliberately blow bubbles to create a bubble net around their food. Now the fish or the krill, they don't really like the bubbles, so they start swimming closer to each other and start balling up. Then what the humpback whales do is open their mouths up really wide. They expand their throat because it's like a slinky or an accordion, and then they come up from underneath and they gobble up their food, which is amazing.
So if you're a whale guy, would you like to feed like this?
Yeah.
Or would you just go for the normal chomp, chomp, chomp?
No, the bubble.
Yeah, that's the cleverest way, I think.
Okay, so the food is in the whale's mouth. What happens next? Gulp. They swallow it down.
So these animals can eat over a ton easily, so over 1,000 kilos of either fish or krill a day, and these will then pass through their system.
The esophagus, the stomachs, the intestines.
Where the animals will then, over some period of time, come out the other end. But when it does come out, it's a little different to the poo that you might be thinking of. When a whale does poo, it dissipates, so it actually breaks up quite easily.
You're probably imagining it, right? But if you're imagining a blue whale, its poo might not be the colour you're expecting.
Because they eat krill, it's very bright red. And so there's this long poo line trail and it just breaks up very easily.
Very cool. So what is it about krill that makes it red?
Some krill, they are reddish in colour. And so this may be the reason as to why it actually comes out very similar colour, so very rich. In some cases as well, the poo can be bright orange. It's most likely to do with the colour of the animals that they ingest.
Bright orange poo, I would love to see that. But how would I know where to start? Well, I could seek out the help of an amazing animal, a scientist's best friend.
Can you tell us about Gator, your dog colleague?
Oh, well, I unfortunately have never been able to work with him, but there are some dogs that are trained to deliberately hop on a boat, wear a life jacket, and sniff out whale poo. So these animals are very clever. And Gator is a great example because Gator is a blue heeler, and I love blue heeler or Australian cattle dogs. To see one on a boat with a life jacket on, a dog that's trained to sniff out whale poo, I mean, what a combination. That would be the ultimate pet.
Love it. Would you like to work with a dog like that guy?
Yeah.
Great. So we finally found our whale poo. But whales don't just poo to get rid of all the parts of the food they don't need. Their poo has another incredible function.
Why do whales feed in one part of the ocean and poo in another?
Oh, well, whales, they move a lot. So it's not like us where we will eat at home and then we might poo at home. These animals usually will travel really long distances during a day, and they're likely to feed and then carry all that food until they go, oh, I need to release my bowels, and then poo elsewhere, which is a good thing for the ocean because they're able to move a huge amount of nutrients from one part of the ocean to another, which is helping our ocean fertilize.
Very cool. We've got a lot of poo now. But where are the farts? Well, these huge distances travelled means that the whale is doing a lot of digesting. Like cows, they also have more than one stomach and very, very long intestines. It's thought that the blue whale's intestine can be as long as 220 metres. As the stomach acids and bacteria in the intestines break down the food, they make gases, which come out as, you guessed it, farts.
Have you ever seen a whale fart?
No, I've not been lucky enough to see a whale fart before, but I think you have to be super lucky to see this. That's on my bucket list of things to see in life.
How big are their farts in comparison to a human?
I would say they're a lot bigger. So a whale, it can be the size of a school bus. That's really, really big. So some whales can get up to 30 meters long. That's a blue whale. That's a big animal. So if they have the opportunity to fart, I would imagine that their farts would probably smell a room out. It would be nasty. Ugh.
So kids, do try and avoid being in the same room or ocean as a farting whale. Now, we've travelled all the way through a whale's guts, seeing exactly what happens inside. But the insides of the sperm whale are still home to one of science's great mysteries.
Do whales vomit?
Well, some people say they do, some people don't. Now, there's a very famous thing called ambergris,
which can look just like a regular grey or whitish stone, except they float and have a sweet animal-like smell.
Now, this is from sperm whales, and some people say that sperm whales vomit squid beaks. So giant squid have really big beaks, like the size of your hand, and they're unable to digest this properly. Now, I've looked into this, and some people say they can't vomit that up, whereas other people say they poo it out. Regardless of how it comes out, some people will really want to find ambergris to use for perfumes because the material that's in it is unlike any in the world. It helps the perfume stay on your skin for longer. But if your mum has perfume, it's very unlikely that there's whale vomit in there. So don't get too excited.
Thank you so much for answering all my questions.
Thank you, Guy, for your question. I've learnt a lot, and hopefully you've learnt a lot as well.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Conversation's Curious Kids. If you've got a question for us, please do email us at curiouskids@theconversation.com and we will do our best to find an expert to answer it. This podcast was made by The Conversation, a news and analysis platform bringing research expertise to the world. This episode was produced by Katie Flood, executive produced by Gemma Ware, and presented and sound designed by me, Eloise. See you next time!
Hello, I'm Emma from the Earth Rangers podcast. If you think that animals are amazing, then our podcast is the one for you. Join me as I travel the world to discover the wildest animal facts out there and solve nature's biggest mysteries. If you're a fan of animal expeditions like on PBS's Wildcrats and the BBC's Planet Earth, or the mystery and intrigue of Carmen Sandiego, then you'll love the Earth Rangers podcast. This is a journey you won't want to miss. Follow the Earth Rangers podcast on Apple Podcasts, and for more information, go to gzmshows.com. See you soon!
If you're listening to this, you're either a curious kid or you've got one in the car with you right now. Either way, you're in the right place. I'm Marshall, co-host of Tumble, an award-winning science podcast for kids and families. We start with the questions that kids are actually asking, then take them to real scientists, covering everything from animals and dinosaurs to space and cats. Search for Tumble Science Podcast for Kids wherever you get your podcasts. Keep that curiosity going.